Great. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now global series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you're new to me, Shefaliburns, new to my channel on YouTube, new to my show on YouTube, please do subscribe so you can take advantage of all the current shows, all the previous shows, all the shows coming up. And so if you are watching on the replay, welcome, welcome. If you're here live with us, welcome, welcome. It is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring to you these amazing speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their processes, their clearings, their activations, etc., so that we can all thrive, so that we can all awaken to happiness now. And so today, my dear friend Natasa Stojanovic is back with us, and we're going to be talking about breaking through procrastination and overwhelm using whale wisdom and ocean healing. So some of what we're going to talk about today is the crazy cycle of procrastination, the deeper cause of procrastination that nobody talks about, how to break through procrastination for good without pushing through or depleting your energies, and by applying whale wisdom, how the ocean and her beings can help you heal and reconnect you with your powerful true you. And of course, Natasha will be taking live caller questions and will be facilitating an ocean light language activation for healing and ascension. So for those of you who may not know Natasha, she's been with us many times now. I love talking to Natasha. I love her activations and the processes that she brings through for everyone. She is a channel of the ocean light, whale retreat leader, frequency healer, speaker, mentor, and mother. Deeply connected to her ancient heritage of galactic ocean consciousness, Natasha is masterful at transmitting divine frequencies of ocean light, whales, and dolphins to help leaders, light workers, and wayshowers transcend their experience of limitation and truly live as the light that they are, while being grounded in this physical expression of reality. So everyone, please join me in welcoming Natasha back to the show. Natasha, welcome.
Thank you. It's such a joy to be here as always.
And I'm excited about this conversation because, I mean, when you talk about procrastination, we all do it. We all procrastinate on many things for one reason or another. We can all come up with a great excuse of why we're procrastinating, right? But I didn't realize, I'll be honest, like I always am on these shows, I didn't realize that there was a crazy cycle of procrastination. So I'm interested to talk about that because I don't think I'm a really big procrastinator, I'll be honest. I am a doer, but yes, you're right. No, there are some things I do procrastinate about because, old stories, old patterns, old fears, old emotional blah, blah, blah gets in the way and stops me from doing what I want to do sometimes. So that could be part of the cycle. So let's talk about procrastination. And especially though, I have to say at this time, because at this time there are so many heightened energies. And I think right now, especially a lot of people are feeling tired, feeling drained even. And so that, obviously that's a great excuse to procrastinate. It's like, I'm tired. I don't have the energy to do anything kind of thing, right? But it is something that I think we're all experiencing. And it's not just the heat, like the physical heat, but I think there's a lot of energy in our reality at the moment, in our atmosphere, in our consciousness that is um, perhaps expressing through us as tiredness, as fatigue, but it's really, for me, I feel it's more of an awakening and more of a change that's coming. Anyways, I'll let you talk.
I love that. So I can go now. We can go home.
Because you know how much I love to talk as well, right? So it's
So to the point. I love what you're saying. And it's exactly a lot of what we'll talk about. And it's also a question that I think when I posted about it yesterday, I said or today, I don't remember, is it even procrastination, right? Because sometimes we just give it those names. So we're going to unpack some of that today. And the reason that I chose to talk about this is from my own journey as well, where there was something I was like really feeling like I'm procrastinating. So what's going on here? And through diving into that, and also through the feedbacks that I was getting from friends and clients and colleagues, there was a lot of felt, let's say, stuckness, overwhelm, procrastination, fatigue. So what's going on here? And so that actually prompted me. And as you said, like when you read about my bio, for me, it's really a lot about connecting spirituality and grounded living. So we're here to live as love, to live our calling, to live our blueprint, to get out of the way and to allow spirit to flow through us. But procrastination keeps us in a loop and keeps us in the feeling of nothing is moving. And that's not where we're in our highest vibration. That's not where we can truly live our highest expression. And so that's why I decided to talk about this. I was guided really to dive deeper there for myself. And it's always like that, either I feel inspired to talk about something, and then I have to go through my own deal and share of dealing with it, or there's something I'm dealing with, I'm moving through, and then it's clear that this is what I'm talking about. So the crazy cycle, I called it the crazy cycle, because let's first just define what procrastination is. And so we talk about the same thing. So I'm not claiming that my definition is the right one, but just so we're talking about the same thing. So it's actually when you keep postponing something and you keep postponing it. So all the time, like there's, for instance, a project I want to start, and then maybe I start and then I stop, and then I just want to try again, and I still postpone it for tomorrow, and let's do it tomorrow, and let's do it tomorrow, right? So I'm postponing that thing. And it's a pattern, like everything in the universe. And when I looked at the pattern, I saw that cycle coming in. Like it showed me the cycle of procrastination, which usually starts with feeling really inspired. So we get this inspirational hit and we want to do something, right? And that's not procrastination. It's just the start. And then from there on, we move in there. So we get inspired. For instance, you might be inspired to start working out again. You might be inspired to have better self-care. You might be inspired to offer something new if you're maybe you're a coach, or you're an entrepreneur, or whatever that is, right? Or a healer. So you have this inspiration, and there comes a point along that journey of being inspired where you start working on it. And then there comes a point where you feel maybe a little bit stuck, where things slow a little bit down, where the energy is maybe not as high, or you don't know how to solve that one thing. Or if you started working out, it's like, that like the first week you go and work out, and the second week it gets a bit more difficult. So there's this point of perceived challenge or difficulty or energy going down. And where procrastination started for me when I looked into the pattern is at that point, if we start looking outside of ourselves for support. So the typical thing is that many of us are going through right now in this modern world is, okay, we get inspired, we feel a little bit stuck, we start looking outside. So I need inspiration for this. How do I do that? You go on the internet and you search, as an example, right? You might watch a YouTube video, or you might ask a question even. You might tune in and go like, okay, show me, I don't know what my next step is, or what's going on here. And you don't get an answer. So you go like, okay, I heard that thing about, ask the angels. And if it's not, the answer isn't here yet, then maybe you turn on the radio or open the internet, or somebody will say something. Now there's not somebody around. So you go on the internet and look for that some voice that comes in and tells you what to do, right? So we're turning to the outside to find the answer in a way. And then what happens a lot is getting stuck on the internet. For instance, in my example now, right? You're getting stuck on the internet. And I think many will relate here. You either watch an inspirational YouTube video, or you listen to an inspirational podcast, or whatever that is, or you get stuck scrolling somewhere on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you are. And then your energy level, first it's like you feel good and inspired, and then you realize you got stuck, and then your energy drops after you turn it off. And that's a dopamine addiction that comes in here, right? Where most of us are dopamine addicted. So after you left, and that's why I call it the crazy cycle, what happens now is you're drained, you don't have energy, you had a little bit energy, but now to do something, oh no, now I don't have energy for that. and then the guilt comes in. And then you feel guilty because you didn't do anything, but you don't have energy to do anything. So you postpone it, right? And then you have even less energy because of the guilt and so on and so forth. So at some point, you take yourself out of that. And that's where the craziness comes in. It's like either you get frustrated or angry, or you just take a break and you go to sleep. And next day you have a bit more inspiration. And then the whole thing starts all over again, right? You feel stuck, you look outside for help, you get stuck somewhere where it's not really healthy for you, you get drained even more, and that's the cycle. So that's the crazy cycle, is because it goes downward. It's not just you're procrastinating once and then you get into, okay, what do I need? And you move on. You keep procrastinating through that, draining yourself, procrastinating, getting inspired, draining yourself, procrastinating. If that makes any sense, let me know. If it doesn't, let me know as well. I'm happy to explain more. For me, it was exactly that journey, right? So I was in that tired cycle, and then I would find something to uplift me. I would get inspired again, and then I would feel like, nah, I'm not so sure. Sometimes it's self-doubt that kicks in. So you start doubting yourself. So you look for inspiration outside and you go down that rabbit hole, if that makes any sense. And so, as you already said, Shefali, the reason that we procrastinate, and that's something that's really important for me to bring across, is not because we are not, like we don't want something, or it's not because we don't know how to move on, actually. There's a deeper cause to that. And it's really important that we stop judging ourselves. And that's also where the whales are coming in. They're always teaching us to get out of judgment, and in particular, self-judgment. The more we judge ourselves for not having done what we actually wanted, we get into that crazy loop, right? Because we feel guilty, we feel not good enough, we feel there's something wrong with us. And there's nothing wrong with you. Even if you're procrastinating a lot, don't judge yourself. It's just a pattern. And the moment you get aware of your own pattern, it's the first step to be able to move out of it. So whether for you it's the pattern that I described or a slightly different one, if you're in that cycle of fatigue, procrastination, feeling inspired, then look and start you can start just observing yourself with a lot of compassion, going like, it's okay, but just let's see what I'm actually doing. In which moment am I inspired? And what happened then between being inspired and now when I feel this low? And start tracking yourself and being a bit aware. And you will discover the pattern, the exact steps of how you're going through this journey. Okay. Does that make sense? Does that make sense for you, Shefali, if you're listening to how it's moving through?
Yep, absolutely. And I agree. A lot of times we tend to judge ourselves. We tend to, and then feel guilty and beat ourselves up for not doing what we want to do. And then we go into blaming, blaming ourselves, blaming our situation, blaming our circumstance, whatever, right? But I think also that there must be like a deeper fear involved,
Yeah.
right? As well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly where I'm going next. So the cause that I said that nobody's talking about, if you look it up, usually if you look at podcasts or stuff, how to get over procrastination, people will tell you like, okay, just break the pattern and do something just for 2 minutes. Just break that pattern of not doing. But if you're feeling totally out of your energy, you sometimes can't even make yourself do that. And if there's a deeper layer, which there usually is, it won't work for you. You're trying to change something from a level of consciousness that created the problem, right? You're still carrying the level of consciousness that's underneath, as you're saying, maybe a fear or whatever that is. So if I was to say it in one sentence, what the deeper cause is, for me, how I see it, and I'll explain what that means, is misalignment with the soul. in any way, shape, or form. So we're not aligned with our true essence, with our soul, with our path, with the flow of life, with the love, light, intelligence that wants to flow through us. And what does that mean? Like, practically speaking, it could be overwhelm and exhaustion. So when we're out of energy, when we're overwhelmed, when we're drained, then this is what we need to address first. So it might be that you just put too much on your plate and it's just too many projects, too many things to do, right? And or that you need to learn to better take care of yourself so you'll have more energy. And what you were saying in the beginning, with all the energies that are coming in, they're literally awakening us. I also agree with that. I believe that too. And they bring in so much new energy and light, and our bodies need to integrate that. And it takes a bit more time than it used to take maybe 10 years ago. We can't live the way we lived 10 years ago when we were just all trained, and in particular women were like, okay, we're just going to push through. We have kids to take care of. We can't just go like, I need a sacred pause. Thank you. You're hungry. Wait 2 hours until mama comes back. It's impossible, right? So we need to find that balance. But we do need more time, whether that's 10-minute increments if you have small children, whether you can take 2 hours off in between, whether you can take a week or a day, but you need to create more integration time, more stillness time, more self-care time. This is like for the overwhelm. And then also, if it's overwhelmed, that's keeping you in procrastination, because you literally have to have energy in order to step into action, right? If it's too much on your plate, it's worth looking at your situation and going like, okay, do I have too many projects going on? And I'm saying projects, I mean, for instance, family and relationship and work and, I don't know, hobbies. And maybe you said to a friend that you're going to help them move, or whatever that is, right? Do I need to adapt something? Do I need to postpone something or to let go of something? So that's the overwhelm. That's one possibility of misalignment. I have like 3 main categories. The second is what I already mentioned a little bit, is a dopamine addiction. What I mean by that is our brains can release a chemical called dopamine, and it gives us that feeling of reward. And originally, our brain can do that. For instance, like when we were in the old days, we were looking for shelter or we're looking for food, and then we'd feel the reward, of course, because we want to keep ourselves and our family and our people safe. However, today, what's happening through, in particular, internet and social media, is we get that dopamine high in that moment. We see maybe something inspirational. We feel like, oh, wow. It's just an escaping from the problem that we have, and we escape for a moment. And when we get stuck, I said we're going into guilt. But the dopamine that's being released creates the wish for doing that again next time. Now, another thing that happens is, with all that social media stuff, it's like we see those people and we go like, oh, but I'll never be as them. They're so amazing, because all we see is the glamour and the glitter, right? And the amazing, wisdom that they speak. But we don't see when they're fighting with their husband or wife or children or partner or whatever that is, right? Or when they're feeling low or they're procrastinating or whatever they're doing. So that quick dopamine hit, and then feeling low. And when you feel low, your brain goes like, hey, but turn it on again, because you can have a little reward again. And so sometimes, in order to move through procrastination, what we need to do first is to move through that dopamine addiction. Luckily, the approach is very, very similar. It's almost the same. But understanding, am I playing this? Oh, I'm feeling a bit high now. I feel inspired because I watched somebody else. And then watching yourself afterwards, do you feel low and do you feel drawn to do it again? So for instance, I have had Facebook and Instagram on the first page on my phone, because through my business I use them, right? Otherwise I didn't have them before. So what I did now is I put them on the second page. So I have to move the first page in order to even see the icons. And you cannot believe how much that changed, and how I'm far less on social media than I was before. And I'm getting stuck far less often. I'm still working on to be very honest, I'm still working on my YouTube to not go there all the time. Not all the time. I mean, I don't spend, hours on YouTube or something, but it's something that I'm now still, going like, it's a little bit more than I really wanted to watch. Or it's so clever how it's made, right? It's like you watch something that you really want to watch, and then you see all the other YouTube videos popping up on the side. So I'm gonna change that screen now for me, so I'm not tempted as much. So that's the second. It's a dopamine addiction, and I'll go into how we move through that, and it's very similar to the procrastination. And then the third one is what you started mentioning, whether it's a fear, whether it's a part of you that feels what you want to do is dangerous for you, it's not good for you, whether it's a part of you that for whatever reason wants to protect you, a hurt part, an unseen part, an unheard part, an energy, whether it's yours or from an ancestor or from another lifetime, it doesn't matter, that's interfering. And it's usually a part of you. It's usually a part. And I give you an example. I've had, when I dove into something that I was procrastinating, where I knew I was aligned with my soul calling. So the overwhelm, sorry, I've got to say that the overwhelm can sometimes be also because you're not aligned with what your soul really wants to do in this moment in life. And then you're going to procrastinate as well because you're not aligned with that. That can create overwhelm as well, right? It can create stress. However, there was something where I was aligned. It wasn't about dopamine addiction. And I was still realizing I'm postponing that, even though I know it's inspired, it's aligned, and I really want to do this. And when I dove in, I realized there was a part of me that just felt like a victim. It felt powerless to do that. It felt powerless for what would happen afterwards when I do these, when I take these actions. And so when I healed that part and I heard it, and here again, as the whales are coming in, with compassion, with love, everything started shifting. Synchronicity started coming in. Things that I wasn't even aware could be possible started happening. It was just like one gift after the other. And I had the energy to do it from one moment to the other, just by healing that part. And as you're saying, it could be the fear of being seen. It could be the fear of speaking your truth. It could be a hurt part that experienced either in another lifetime or as a child or a younger adult, something that led to you suffering in a way. And it feels like, oh, if you do that, this could happen again. I worked with a woman who, it wasn't about procrastination, but a similar mechanism. And she she had done all the visualization, she was working, she was taking action, and she came to me, she said, I feel like I have a money block. But when we dove in, she had lost, when she was very young, she had a lot of money, and she had a beautiful relationship, and she had a dark night of the soul where she lost everything. And so now she didn't dare to make money anymore. So she would sabotage herself because there was a part of her who was so afraid that she's going to go through that same amount of deep loss and hurt. And it was sabotaging her taking action and really creating money for her as a living. I mean, she was really struggling, right? She's not struggling anymore. But that are things that can be underneath. And so if we want to look at the cause, that misalignment with the soul, it's always some amount of stress, whether that's a fear, whether that's dopamine addiction, whether that's, not being aligned with your soul's path, whether that's overwhelm and exhaustion. It's always any kind of stress.
Totally
And
makes
so,
sense. And
right.
And I think we all experience this type of thing from time to time, but we don't look deeper at like what could it possibly be, right? Yes, there's fear of rejection, fear of judgment, right? All that wonderful stuff that we all have all experienced, right? The fear of being seen, all that wonderful stuff. And Rhonda's asking in the chat, she said, I would love your insight on procrastination as a safety mechanism or trauma response. So I think you kind of alluded to that, right?
Yeah.
That it's there to protect us in some way, but also as a trauma response. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and it is actually, the example that I gave you was a typical trauma response, right? Because I mean, she had lost everything. She had lost her love partner, she had lost her home, she had lost the money. And so that was traumatic for her. So yes, we can.
Sounds like you're talking about me.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I did not
I
know
lost
that.
everything. So yeah. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're talking to me about
Yeah.
me.
So yeah, and it can be a trauma response, directly a trauma response. And like, to define trauma, maybe it's something that many people think trauma has to be something really, like violent, like abuse or being in a war or something. Trauma is, the way that I look at it, is everything where you have been hurt deeply, or it's a wounding. So it could be a child falling off a bicycle. For one child, they get up and move on. For another child, it can be a traumatic experience. So there is no outside definition of what trauma is. For me, the definition comes from inside. Like, if you experienced it as trauma, then it has been traumatic for you.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I'm not going to go into PTSD and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
just to know, right, that we can call it wounding.
Yeah.
If that's maybe easier for people, right? So we don't have to make, where's the difference, and what post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms did you develop or not. But we do have, like, you can look at adverse childhood experiences as traumatic, right? So looking at it as a wounding, and any wounding can cause the procrastination, because a part of us wants to protect us from this same thing happening again. And that part does not have the information that you, as a conscious adult human being, have, that yeah, but it's not the same. I know I want to do this now. But that part of you is still stuck in that traumatic experience, in that wounding experience. And so energetically,
Totally
you can look at it as if, the energy got frozen in time of that part, and it's just not informed. It doesn't know that it's over. It thinks this is still happening or is gonna happen again. And so it wants to protect. Yeah.
Makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense for you, Rhonda. Yeah, that was a great question. And absolutely. And I think when it comes to procrastination and even overwhelm, can also be a safety mechanism or a trauma response as well, right? Keeping us from doing something to protect us, right? Or keeping us from doing something because of the trauma or the wounding that we're still experiencing and feeling. And yeah, the wounding stays in the cellular memory until you've healed it, right? So it feels like you're still back at that. So for example, when I was little, I tried to ride a bike. I fell. I must have fallen. I don't remember anything. I fell, and since then I have not been able to ride a bike. So it's because so it's a funny example, but it's the same thing, right? It's like everybody rides a bike. Everybody knows how to ride a bike, but I could not do it, and so part of me is still in that. I don't know how old I was, time, who fell off the bike and had a traumatic experience, and then didn't want to get back on and get hurt again, right? So a part of me is protecting me from getting hurt again.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Exactly. And that's something when I, like any kind of stress, whether it's trauma or stress or wounding or fear, there is no objective. You can't objectively say whether something is stressful or not. Only the person experiencing it can decide whether this is stressful or not. And if people get that, this is just so important, right? So you gotta listen to yourself. Don't compare to anybody else. And to your point about the energy, there trauma and wounding and these stories, these hurts, these old unresolved hurts can take so much energy. And of course, then we're in overwhelm. And of course, we're feeling like we're procrastinating when in truth, what we need is to come back to our energy, to release these parts, to heal them, and to allow ourselves to fill up with energy again. Because you see, traumatic experiences, wounding, they just eat so much of our energy. It takes so much energy to, we're staying in survival mode partly.
Yeah.
And that takes energy. So we actually want to relax that, and we want to allow source to flow through us. And actually, it's funny when you're saying about the bicycle. I had a similar experience. I was driving my bicycle a lot, but I had in 2010, I had an accident where the steering wheel got just ripped out of my hands. I was downhill. There was a hole I didn't see in the street, and I was just flying. And I remember myself flying, and then it came into that, like the slow motion, when you're experiencing everything in slow motion. And I remember myself being just suspended in the air and then slowly falling. And I saw the street coming closer and closer and closer. And I really hit with my chin and my whole belly, like I landed flat. And so the ambulance came to pick me up. And long story short, as I was recovering, what happened is that after that, that was actually the way from where I lived to the little town, but I couldn't bicycle to town anymore. This downhill, it was just like I couldn't get on my bike. So I had to do like 3 healing sessions on myself until I could start riding my bike again to release the trauma. And I thought it's going to be done with 1 because it was just 1 accident. Usually it takes me one healing session and then I'm good. But I had to do 3 because it was so stored so deeply in my cells. And then I had to learn to do it again. So yeah, that is important. It really can be very helpful to release that. Yeah. And so, breaking free from that whole cycle of procrastination is obviously, as I said in the beginning, it's being aware, like recognizing your personal pattern and committing, of course, that you really want to resolve it. And then to start listening within, through our heart, as the whales and the ocean and our beings of light and all our guides and everybody's teaching us. And we know, our heart is where our power lies, the whales say. Our heart is our connection to our higher self, also our high heart. And so just by connecting with our heart and starting to see what comes up really and listening. And in my work, I help people to, get aware of that. And then when you hear that part of you and you realize, oh, that's what's going on, that's underneath, then coming in with love and compassion and healing that part, informing it of what's happening. So that part that's stuck, what we do when we do the healing is we allow that part to be informed with that this is over and it's gone and everything that's connected to that, right? And allowing it to heal. And I love doing that. Sometimes the whales come in, sometimes the dolphins come in, sometimes it's just that love, light, intelligence. It's always a co-creation with a higher self. And you can do that if you're used to working with your higher self. You can just ask your higher self, how can I support that part? And it's always with love. It's always carried by unconditional love and compassion, never judgment of that part. Think of it like it's like the little child that falls and is hurt. You're not going to judge it for it falling. You're going to hug it and be there for this child. And then it's going to release and start releasing and healing. And then after you healed it, then it's really creating new neural pathways. Now it's about, how do I replace that pattern, right? So instead of what I used to do in my example, go watch an inspiring YouTube video or go on Facebook. So how can I tune in when I feel stuck? Can I tune in within and see what else would I do, right? Maybe I'm going to ask my guidance. Maybe I'm going to go to nature, go for a walk, right? Maybe whatever it is for you, we find new ways of moving through that, of not falling into the old trap, but creating new habits, healthy habits, supportive habits, and in particular, habits that help you regenerate your energy. Because when you have energy and when you feel whole within yourself, then spirit will flow through you and you can't not do it. As I told you, when I healed that part, it was just like this, tuck, 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 everything flew in. And by the way, we postponed our first, remember that I asked you, Shefali, if we could postpone my interview and my masterclass because it was supposed to be more than a month ago, right? And so that was one of the reasons, is that I realized I had overwhelmed because I had too many projects at once. And when I was regenerating my energy and realizing that, I was like, okay, I need to postpone this, because the interesting thing was I did not know what I'll talk about. My mind was blank. Whenever I would tune in, there was no answer. So in truth, my soul was telling me, honey, you need to relax. You need to create space, and then your intuition will flow again. And then we postponed, and I didn't have to think about what we're talking about. It just came in, boom, I knew this is our topic. That's how the magic works. When we get out of the way and allow spirit to flow through again, then it's so much more light and joyful and loving and effortless. Even if that's a small example, it works with big examples as well. And to finish the thing, the fifth, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The fifth step is just having that feedback with compassion. See how does it work? Is there another layer I need to look at, or am I on track? So it's just, observing yourself and moving on and enjoying it. Yeah. So sorry, what did you want to?
I don't remember now. I
don't know.
Must not have been important. So it's all good. Oh yeah, no, I just remember. So I just want to clarify something really quickly for folks. So spirit is always flowing to you, through you, as you, blah blah blah. But when we have these little kinks in our energy, we'll say, fears, doubts, procrastination, all these little things, the energy, the source light energy cannot flow as smoothly or as much, right? But it's always flowing. So because it's like you're always connected to source. It's like you're never disconnected, kind of thing. But it just doesn't flow as smoothly and freely and as much as it can. The potential for it, because of these kinks and just not disturbances.
Interferences.
Interferences in our field, for sure. Yeah.
I
always like to give that clarification to folks, because I still feel like a lot of people think that they're disconnected from source, they're disconnected from their higher self, they're disconnected from their guides. No. Yeah, interruption. Thank you, Linda. Right? No, distortion was the word that I was thinking of. Yeah. Thank you. But we are always connected. It's just that our focus is on other things, and sometimes these fears or the procrastination or the stuckness or the overwhelm, our energy and our focus goes there instead of more about our connection with source, and it just doesn't flow as freely as it could. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Thank you for clarifying that. When I said like spirit flows through you again, I didn't mean it does. It didn't before, but you can feel it flowing through you again, and you can connect with it, and you can hear it. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. We're always connected. Exactly, and it's like we are a love light intelligence. We are beings of light. We just do not experience it sometimes like that because we have these filters in place. So the way I think about it is like the light is always shining, but it's like when you have a movie projector, depending on what filter you put in front, it can be gray or pink or another movie, right? So we're all, that's how we create the reality that we're creating. Yeah,
Yeah,
love that. Yeah,
absolutely.
thank you.
And of
Yeah.
course, whale wisdom is um, centered around or is concentrated on, I guess, compassion and unconditional love, right? And I think, compassion and unconditional love and wisdom, obviously, but compassion and unconditional love for ourselves, if we can give that to ourselves more and more and more, it will help to with the healing much more easily and freely than we did have access to in the past, right? So now, if we can remember to give ourselves compassion, give ourselves unconditional love, remind ourselves that we are compassionate beings of light to begin with. Like we are always flowing with compassion within us, but we're again, it's our focus is on something else, But if we can come back to our focus of I am compassion and allow that frequency and that energy to be embodied in our personality and this physical body, this expression that we're having right now, it can start to change those wounds. It can start to heal those wounds. It can start to bring them up to the surface so that they can be recognized and healed, etc. Right?
Yes, absolutely. And one way is to connect with your heart and to connect with heart coherence, creating heart coherence. Um, when I don't know if listeners maybe don't know about heart coherence. So heart coherence is a term. There's a Heart Math Institute that has done a lot of research, and they found that our heart has over 40,000 nerve-like structures. So they're like called sensory neurites, and it's like a brain, right? The heart can feel independently, memorize independently, think independently. So now that's the more scientific part, or the more, how do you say, like the analytic part of the explanation. But when we connect with our heart, just literally the feeling of our heart center in the middle of our chest, and we can, for instance, imagine that we're breathing in and out, what I always do when we'll see when we start the meditation. Maybe I'll do the same, maybe not. I don't know how I'll be guided. But breathing in and out as if breathing through the heart, and then remembering something or thinking of something that makes you smile. Any high vibrational emotion that you can connect to, like gratitude, like love, like compassion, like joy. Your heart field becomes informed with that. We have a heart field. So just like the torus field, our heart is in the center of a torus field of the counter rotating fields, and allowing our heart field to expand with these feelings. We're not only, and it's amazing actually, how what's best for myself is always best for all. Is as we do that, not only do our body systems start aligning, so our respiratory system, our digestive system, our immune system gets stronger, but also the influence on other people is calming, right? Is if we have a strong heart field of these high frequencies, we're gonna influence, not control, not manipulate, but it's going to influence people around us. And we're also in connection with Mother Earth. That's why being outside in nature is one of the reasons. There's many. And if you can, by the ocean as well, whatever nature it is healing, is grounding, is also, you are connected to these frequencies of the earth. And so when we can be in that heart alignment, in these heart open feelings of joy, of love, of compassion, of gratitude, of appreciation. If you can't feel gratitude, just go 2% more appreciation. We're supporting ourselves, we're supporting the healing. And I think that sometimes we talk so much about self-love and self-compassion, But when we can start experiencing that in our heart through these exercises, like heart coherence, like feeling gratitude, whatever that is, for whatever it is, and then we start remembering that feeling, and then really having that compassion for ourselves, for that part of us that maybe feels frustrated, maybe feels hurt, maybe feels fearful, maybe feels angry, and that's okay. And not trying to suppress the anger because we want to be in high vibration, but giving ourselves love for that angry part. And really, hand on the heart, what you can do is very simple. You just get into that feeling of heart coherence, and then you connect with that part. Go like, I understand that you're angry. And I love you exactly the way you are with your anger. That is unity consciousness. That is what the whales teach us. It's not about, oh, I'm in love and I want to push away all the bad feelings. Really feeling our feelings is being lovingly present with whatever we experience. And that's how the healing really accelerates. So there's more to it than, like sometimes we can realize, but we can learn that. We can literally learn that. And as somebody says, giving ourselves permission to feel and not suppress our emotions. Exactly. And not get lost in the story of what we feel, right? Because people think feel your feelings and heal through feeling your feelings is about, okay, I'm angry and I'm going to feel that anger. I'm going to stay angry. And then I'm going to think about what makes me angry, which will perpetuate that anger. Well, that's not the healthiest thing to do. Feeling our feelings is just, as you say, giving ourselves permission. It's okay to feel the way we feel. And the moment we do that from love and with love, it can't last longer than 30 to 90 seconds. And feeling the feeling is actually feeling the sensation in our body. When I'm nervous, I'm feeling that cramping in my solar plexus. And I'm just going to breathe and let that be okay. And just notice what I feel. That's feeling my feelings. It's not getting angrier and angrier and angrier. I just wanted to clarify that because it's so often misunderstood.
Absolutely. And I totally agree. And I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say it. And then you said it, that the feeling really only lasts in your body for 30 to 90 seconds. But if you are feeling beyond that, you've gone into the story.
Yeah.
Right. You've gone into the story, and then you've then identified with the story. So the feeling, it's like, and again, feeling it in the body, like you said, that's what feeling is. Feeling it in the body. How is the body processing it? It's so key. And sometimes, you're gonna have feelings many times. So I think I was having a moment yesterday. you know um some rough, tough feelings were coming up, and there was anger, and there was mostly anger yesterday, actually. So, but I felt it, and it's like, yep, that's what I'm feeling, and it's okay, right? So it's about not judging yourself for feeling angry. That's just what the personality was feeling, right? And that's okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah, go ahead.
you asked about the humpback whales. There's something I'd like to share about the humpback whales that's also very helpful when it comes to really living aligned and feeling the connection again to source. That's who we are. And living, not procrastinating in terms of like living what's really aligned with us. I said that one of the reasons might be that it's just not aligned with our soul, what we're doing right now. And so the humpback whales, they travel, as most of you may know, for thousands of kilometers every year from their feeding grounds to their breeding and mating grounds, or mating and breeding grounds, and where they give birth to their calves. And what scientists discovered as they tagged them and tracked them with satellites is that humpback whales can be accurate. They're accurate on their course. They're unbelievably accurate. They're heading their true north, right? And they're not deviating. They're mostly accurate they're not deviating more than 1%, even less than one degree. Sorry, not percent, 1 degree. No ship on Earth can do that. No boat on Earth can do that over these amounts of kilometers and miles and whatever they're traveling, right? Let me see, we say miles. So it's really about trusting ourselves to stay true to our true north. And just checking in from time to time. Is that aligned right now? And you know, something that I see coming up a lot is that people think like, okay, but my soul calling, I feel that my soul calling is doing something completely different than I'm doing now. You have a transition phase. So maybe your soul is calling you to right now do something else than what you feel is your big dream. So that's not what I mean, that you need to, you know, like let go of everything and go to your true north is that dream that you have or that vision that you got or whatever that is. But checking in, is that aligned still? Or is it out of alignment and I need to shift something? So that's also something that the whales help us with. And when we're aligned, we procrastinate much less. Yeah.
So you've talked about being in alignment with our vision, with our soul, with our purpose, with our desires, blah blah blah, right? All that kind of stuff. So can you share with everyone a little bit about what, like how you get into alignment, or how you know you're in alignment, or how I mean, everybody knows when they're out of alignment, that's for sure. Right?
Did you ask how we know that we're out of alignment, or did you say everybody knows when we're out of alignment?
Well, I think everybody knows when we're out of alignment,
Yeah.
but how do people know when they're in alignment, or how can they get into alignment?
Yeah. So we know that we're in alignment when things start working out.
Yes.
Sometimes, again, it's quite a tricky thing to explain, because sometimes we're in alignment with what we are to do right now in our lives. Let's say you're a parent, you have children, you're in alignment to be a parent for these children, to take care of these children. Now, that's in alignment. However, there might be something around that that's not in alignment, the way you do it, or maybe, again, a fear or a wounding or a pattern or a belief that is not in alignment with who you are and what you're doing right now in your life. And then the misalignment is about that. Okay, so that's why it doesn't work out. It's not that you chose the wrong path by being a parent, in my example, or by you want to create a retreat center, but things don't fall into place. Maybe you need to look at something else. For me, for instance, maybe that's going to help most to explain. I realized I took time. I took really weeks, months for myself, because I felt like something is not really in alignment, and I wanted to really dive deep and to find out what it is. And I realized what I really want to do more is more in-person events, more retreats, more. I feel that it's so important that we come together in community, that we connect again, that we don't stay only virtual. Great. It was in alignment. However, there were other things right now that I had to look at first. My body is going through some adaptations, and I didn't even know I had a long-term inflammation in my tooth. For instance, tomorrow I have to extract my tooth and they're going to scrape part of my bone out. The thing is, I could have felt like, oh, it can't be in alignment. First, I break my toe and now my tooth hurts so much and my knee hurts and it must be out of alignment. No, it was just that I had to look at something else first, right? And doing retreats is maybe a big project. That's why I'm saying maybe it's the big dream somewhere there. But right now, I'm doing online things, because that's how I can best support people in this very moment while I'm building the other thing, while my body can heal. Okay. So that's what I mean. So by tuning in and finding out how am I in alignment, first of all, what I would recommend is you need to create stillness. You need to first release the overwhelm, to come back into your energy, to ground, to center. if you have something that's really stressful, to heal those stressors first, and that's possible. And then when you have the capacity and the stillness to allow yourself to be for a while, to just tune in. You can, when you do your morning meditation or whatever you're doing, your morning practice, you can sit down and you can just tune into your heart. That's where you connect your higher self. You ask your higher heart to open and to connect with your higher self. And then you just ask, or your angels or guides or whoever you work with, just what is it that I truly want? That can be the question. And I truly want is that connection, your higher self, your soul, you, all of you, right? The higher expression of you. What is it that I truly want? What is my highest alignment? How can I be of the greatest contribution to myself and all that is? These are questions that you can ask, and then allow yourself time. Don't expect the answer to come immediately. Sometimes it will, but sometimes it may take time. It may take weeks. It may take sometimes months, and that's okay, because it will show you what's your next step. And that's also something you can say. What is my exact next step? What do I need to know today in order to feel good, to be of the highest contribution for myself, for the world, for my family, for whatever you want, right? So just creating that stillness and then asking and trusting yourself. Also using your body. We talked before about the body, when we feel angry and we feel that in our body. And where do we sense that in our body? When we learn to distinguish that, and we feel like you can also think just of something where you felt really in alignment, and you remember that, and you get into that situation as if it was now. How did that feel in your body? Where was the energy? How did it feel? What did you feel? Like for me, it's usually around the heart. There's an opening, there's an upliftment. And I know that's where I need to go. You feel happier, you feel lighter, there's lightness coming in, there's joy coming in, there's excitement coming in. Except for some people like me, when you're very tired. So when I'm really tired, you can tell me something that's the highest alignment for me, something that will bring me so much joy, for instance, that's a sign of alignment. And I will say like, well, I don't know. It's like, I need to take a nap. And when I get up, I look at it and go like, oh yes, finally I can do that. But before that, I wouldn't do it. So if you're anything like me, remember, don't ask these questions when you're exhausted and tired. Take a nap first and then ask the questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I'm just going to take a moment and talk about the package, and then after that, we'll come back and maybe take some questions. I forgot to mention at the beginning, if you have a question for Natasha, you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat, and then we'll do the activation as well, right? So, because I knew Tanya had a question, because she was she had unmuted her video for a while, so I was like, I know she has a question, but I knew I forgot to mention that. So let me just, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Hold on, share my screen. Let's hope this works today, because my computer was being funny a little while ago, so I hope it works. So you should all be able to see my screen. Yep.
I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So basically, Natasha's package is a 60-minute one-on-one ocean light and whale healing session. So Natasha, you want to explain what that looks like? What can people expect, etc.?
Yes, for sure. So whether you want to resolve overwhelm, procrastination, self-sabotage, or anything else, or you just want to align more with energy, vitality, flow, your soul calling, what we do in a session is, first of all, I'll call in the beings of the highest light, your higher self, my higher self. Of course, we're working in this beautiful container or space of light. And then I will guide you through that process, right? So of course, the first question is what you want to work on, obviously. But when we know what we're working on, we're going to dive deep. I'll intuitively tune in and see if there's anything else that I wish to share with you that wishes to come through for you. And then if it is about healing, I'm going to guide you through a quantum healing process, which is a combination of most of the things, and I've learned so many things that I've learned in my life, and a combination with the ocean light language. And sometimes the whales and the dolphins will come in and to support you for that healing. So we're going to the root, and we're going to inform these parts. So we're going to connect with those parts of you that might want to protect you, that might not be in alignment, that maybe experienced wounding. And we're just in a very gentle and profound way allow them to catch up with where you really are right now, and dissolving the interruptions, the interferences, the energetic interferences. And that's something that we don't steer with our minds. That's something that comes through with the ocean light language and the beings of light that are here to support you for your session. And if it's more about activation, it can be just a activation, which is also going to happen mainly through ocean light language and through what I pick up intuitively. Yes. And so that's the session. And then in the end, we close the container and we look at if there's anything, that I can share, like I shared right now, down to earth things that you can do. And yeah.
Awesome.
And that's a session.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's 60 minutes, right? I forgot to say that. It's a 60-minute session.
Yep.
Yes.
60 minutes on Zoom.
Yes, on
Right?
Zoom.
Yes.
Until Zoom. You can, or you can come to Croatia if you want.
that would be nice.
That would be amazing.
There's some wonderful testimonials and feedback from folks who have worked with with Natasha. So you can take a look at those as well. And what was I going to say? Thankfully, this is cooperating, and it's a much fuller bio and information about Natasha here as well. And if you are an Inner Circle member, please use your gift code. And there is a payment plan available for this package as well. Awesome. Thank you so much, Natasha.
Thank you.
Hold on. And yay, my computer, cooperated. Thank goodness. Yes, Croatia is beautiful. My goodness. Okay, so Tanya, you want to unmute?
Yes. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
So, when you said that, like somebody told me it's quantum entanglement, and you want to speak and you know that you know what to speak about, and all of a sudden, like your tongue doesn't want to speak at all. So, and I still wonder, is it fear talking or something else? So my question would be, what do I need to heal if you have a kind of which part of me or what belief or what is that is still not blocking me but making me procrastinate?
Okay, so let me ask you a few questions first. When you have that tongue that just gets like blah, 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 and you can't speak, can you say when this happens, or is it just,
as soon as random? I push record, and it feels like, well, I think my brain is going into fight or flight, because then, all of a sudden I cannot even think clearly. not even talk clearly. And it is strange because I, in a conversation with people, I don't have this problem. I can give advice. I always have lots of stuff to say and to, but as soon as I click like push record on a video, it's like somebody switched me off.
Okay. So that's why I was asking, because, like if it's happening all the time, then I would have said like, just go and get checked to be sure. And then we can talk about other things. But if it's just happening whenever you want to, create a video, and then this kicks in and you say like, I believe my brain is in fight or flight. Do you need to ask me whether you're in fear, or do you know whether you're in fear?
I did so many healings and stuff that when I think about creating content on YouTube, for example, I don't have fear. But something in me clicks when I start recording. Maybe it is language, because I want to create content in Ukrainian, and because I rarely speak Ukrainian living in England, sometimes I have not a problem translating, but English comes first, and I feel like more easy with English now. Not, I didn't forget my language, no, but speaking about a subject that I want to speak, I have to kind of literally translate it in my mind. And I thought to myself, do I really need to write it down, everything I want to say? It will be a lot of writing.
So there's
I'm gonna go
like
first,
two things.
Natasha.
Yeah, it could be. Sorry,
I'm gonna go first because I cannot.
I
I can't hold
Go
myself back.
on, go.
What? Go for it.
So Tanya. So first of all, when you're going to record something, don't hit the record button. Just talk.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, just don't hit the record button. Just talk, and
Mhm.
also do it in English a couple of times. You're just nervous. You have fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of someone's gonna make fun of you. That's it. And you are just way too much in your head, thinking that it could be something,
I am.
God knows what. It's nothing. It's just first time I do something, I'm always nervous as well. Right? First time I ever do anything, I'm always nervous and I second guess myself and I'm like, but then I do it and it's like, oh my God, that was so easy. So don't be so difficult. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just do it in English first. Do a few in English, get it out of the way, and then do a short little one piece, one because I think as much as I know you want to do this big whole thing. Just do a 2-minute thing in Ukrainian. I don't think Ukrainian anyway, you know what I mean? Just like bit by bit, like small pieces at a time, and you'll get better. It's just a confidence thing. It's nothing else. Please, I mean, like, people have to stop saying, "Oh, it's quantum entanglements. Oh, it's fear from childhood." No. Sometimes it's just you getting in your own way, and and I do it too. Trust me, I do it too. And then it's like, no, forget it. I'm just gonna do it anyways, regardless of how much I might mess up, how many mistakes I make. I don't care. Nobody cares. No one's going to see it. I mean, no offense, no one's going to see it, but not as many people you think are going to see it as you want to see it. Does that make sense? And even if they do see it, and even if you make a mistake, who cares?
I know. I tell this thing myself every single day.
No, just do it. No, but then you stop yourself because you think that it has to be perfect, and what are people going to think about you if you make a mistake and if you're not perfect? Yes, I know it's old patterns and old beliefs, but at this time where we are now, those are just excuses.
I know. I have to do it.
You just have to do it. It doesn't matter. Go ahead, Natasha. Yeah, I'm done. I just have to say
by
that.
the way, Alara, I don't ride the bike either, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, I saw that.
You see, it is stress, it is fear. Of course, you knew that. That's why I asked you, do you really need to ask me that? Because you know it. And you're starting to second guess yourself. And as Shefali said, that was my message to you, was get out of your head and into your heart. However, sometimes it's really hard to do that. There's two ways. Either you're going to build slowly and you go like, I'll do something small, I'll do something slow, I'll do that, I'll press record. Nobody's on the other side. If you're pressing record, you're not live. Okay. So just start doing it, right? And then you build up from there. Post it somewhere where you feel safe. Begin with somewhere where you feel safe, not posting it out to the world if that scares you so much. Don't think about where you're going to post it. Just say, okay, I'll make one for a best friend. And then you decide afterwards. However, what you can do, and that is one of my, really, if you want to go through that fear, you can go and release that fear. It's possible. If you feel like booking a session or doing it with someone else, but you can release the fear. I had tremendous fear. When I did my first video on YouTube, I was shivering. I was like this, and now see what I'm doing, right? What I did is one session. And I started moving. And then it started moving. And of course, when I put my first live, I was, just as Shefali says, I was nervous. My first live, I was nervous on Facebook. And it was my small Facebook group of maybe 20 people, of which maybe one person was sometimes online. And I felt like I'm talking to the world. This is like our delusion, right?
Yeah.
However, again, a little session, I moved through that. And then it started building on that. I didn't have that fear. And if sometimes now I still feel the fear, it's just 3 breaths. And I got a message that I want to leave you with, and then you can decide how you want to go around this. Is one time in the very beginning, and I was stressed and I was worried and I was like fearful, and I could feel it in my solar plexus. I was like, what am I going to say? And then my guides came through and said, like, it's not your words that speak, it's your frequency. Boom. And that's when everything shifted, because I realized, okay, I need to get my frequency right, and it doesn't really matter what word I need. And
Yes,
to tell you honestly,
yeah.
the feedback that I'm getting from people, it's more about my frequency than about what I said. When people come to me, they say like, oh, I was so attracted to your frequency, right? So that's what speaks. Okay.
Yeah, I want to be in a flow. When I'm in a flow, it comes naturally, you know, and I won't feel like, you know, I'm just talking mouse or whatever. But to get into that state, you know, and that's why I always postpone it, as you said, like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, after tomorrow, and then after tomorrow.
And this has been going on for over a year at least now.
I know,
at least a year.
and I did a lot of healing. If you think that I didn't do fear healing or whatever, tappings
But did you do healing on this, on the procrastination, on the overwhelm, on the fear of speaking?
Yes, I did.
So maybe you should get a session with Natasha if nothing else has worked, or you can
I'm
just
moving
listen to me and
house.
just do it, or you can just
I'm
listen to
moving
me and just
house
do it.
on Monday. I'm
Oh
moving
my
house
goodness!
on Monday. I have another stress in my life now.
Oh my God! Yeah, then just wait. Like just wait. Like, you know, like be in alignment with who you are and know when you need to take a break from doing this. Wait till after the move. Moves are very stressful, right?
Yeah.
Shifting and
Yeah.
moving, whatever you call it, moving house in the UK, you call it. It's very stressful. So give yourself a break and have compassion for yourself. Okay, I will look at this once I've moved.
Yeah.
You know, like I will go back to trying to do the YouTube thing. There's no trying, so just do it. But you know, I'm trying to be nice now.
Yeah.
Like Natasha is so nice and sweet. Like, fine, I'll be nice. And then look at it
Yeah,
then
fine.
when you're not in such a state of overwhelm and stress anyways, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, but you know, if you want, definitely book a session with Natasha. You can do it after the move. You don't have to do it today. If you're moving on Monday, my God, wait. Sometimes you need to think about what you can actually do, because moving, I never want to move again. I was like, oh my God. Never say never, but oh my, right? So look at it next week or the week after, and then see, you know, do I want to do a YouTube thing, or hey, you know what, maybe now is the time to work with Natasha, and I'll do that, and then I'll do the YouTube thing. But don't do anything this week.
Okay. Sure.
Just
I won't
focus
have
on your
time for
move. Exactly. Just focus on your move. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'm so direct sometimes and blunt, but it's,
No,
you
you're
know,
fine. Absolutely. I'm not that offended said person, you know.
yeah, never be offended. But just
No.
listen. just do what I say. No.
Victim mentality. I'm still working on it, but it's almost gone.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Thank
you know
you
what?
so much.
And yeah, you're welcome. And this is for everybody. Who cares? Nobody cares what you say, right? It's your frequency. It's, you know, who you are as a being. Nobody cares what you say. If you make a mistake, nobody really cares. Nobody remembers. Even
Yeah.
people have their own lives, or their own stuff going on, that they don't care. But it's us, you know, who judge ourselves, who put ourselves on, like, have high expectations, and you know, we can't make any mistakes. It has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, especially at the beginning. Just I wasn't always perfect. I'm still, I don't think I'm still perfect, but I'm very comfortable. I have no issues talking, you know. But at the beginning I was like so stiff. I don't know if there's anybody here who was there when I first started back in 2013. I was so stiff. I had a script and everything. It was horrible, right? But I was nervous, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But then slowly, you know, I got better and more comfortable, and I stopped caring what people think. I
Good
really
idea.
don't care that much, you know.
Mhm.
So, anyways, hopefully that helps not just you but everybody
Yeah.
else too. Thank you,
Thank
Tanya.
you, Lara. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you.
I am one of those people who just says, just do it. Get out of your own way and just do it. Yeah, go ahead. You want to say one more thing?
Tatiana.
You have to unmute.
She's talking.
Yeah, you just have to unmute again.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you know, like if you have something important, it's also for everybody. If you have something important to bring, and everybody does, and if you feel called to bring something to others, then it's time. It's time to step up. It's time for all of us to step up and to support here. If you feel called for that, and it's not everybody's path, and not everybody needs to do this, but if you feel called, then step up. And also, you know, it's, you can look at it, a little trick is look at it as your self-expression, what's important to you, and you bring that out, and not let go of expectations of whether that's going to be your business, whether you're going to make money out of it, whether it's going to impact others, whether others will like it. Do it for yourself. You have something to bring to this world. That's your self-expression. Do it. And that's how you're gonna, you know, it's gonna be the most beautiful experience for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, before you do anything, just take a few deep breaths, be in your heart space, expand out, get out of your head, and you'll be fine. You know, like I was telling somebody the other day, I don't know if I did it on a live call or not, but, you know, put a picture of George Clooney or Hugh Jackman in front of the camera so that when you're talking, you're looking at them and it's like, oh, this is really perfect. I mean, I think about Hugh Jackman and I'm like, I'm already smiling. You know, my energy's already shifted and changed, right? You can do that, or as
I
Linda
love
says,
that.
picture all people watching are in their underwear. I can't do that. I'd rather look at Hugh Jackman than look at people in their underwear. But you know, so do what works for you. But we can all, if I can do this, oh my God, anybody can. I've told you guys that, you know, when I was younger, I used to stutter. I was always like, never wanted to raise my hand in class, never wanted to be talked to, like, don't talk to me, you know, kind of thing. So, and now, you know, I don't care. Sometimes I do stutter even when I'm talking because like the information is coming so quickly that my mouth can't catch up, right? But yeah, you'll do fine. You have no problem talking, Tanya, so you'll do fine. Okay. Um And Tina says, I recently started recording voice when doing light language on a voice recording app just for self. Absolutely. Again, it's about doing these little things for yourself, and that will take away the nervousness and the anxiety and all the judgment and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's a great idea, Tina. Thank you. Okay. That was fun. Thank you, Tanya, for making me laugh and, you know, getting all my juices flowing, because it's like, oh, I cannot stay quiet. I have to say something about this. I have to speak. Oh, that would be Keanu Reeves for me. Reeves for me. Awesome. Whoever it is, you know, like just do it. Okay, so back on track. So Natasha, is there an activation that the whales and the dolphins and the ocean beings want to bring through?
We'll see. So, of course, always we'll see what comes through. It can sometimes be stillness, it can be light language, it can be words in English. I think we had all of that, almost all of that on the call.
I think
So
so.
you will know whether it's finished when I tell you. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. That means we're done. So that you don't think when it's silent that it's over. It may be, and also know that it's just, even when I'm silent, it's coming through. Also, what I don't want to say now. Never mind. It'll come back if it's important. Yeah, just make the intention. It's in the highest good for you, for all that is, and that's how you are aligned. Okay, and you'll receive. It's always in the highest. Make that intention, but sometimes people, you know, feel like, oh my gosh, they have never heard light language, and what is she saying, and what's coming through. Let go of all these thoughts. Just be in your heart, and then make the strong intentions. Tell your higher self, I'm open to receive, and I'm receiving that which is in my highest good and the highest good of all. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm
And feel,
inviting.
if you can feel in the body, that would be great too.
Yes, that's the only thing you do is you're aware in your heart, and I'll guide you there. And then also just be aware of the sensations that you're feeling and follow wherever we're guiding you. Okay, so give me a moment to tune in, and you can also just close your eyes, make yourself comfortable, and just scan your body, releasing everything you don't need right now. And then I'm inviting you to put your hands on your heart if you wish, because that helps us connect with our heart center. If that feels aligned, then please do so. If not, you can leave your hands somewhere else, relaxed on your lap, whatever feels aligned. And let's start by taking a few breaths, and we're breathing in into our belly. I'll explain for a moment. You breathe in into your belly and then up into your lungs. And just until a point that feels comfortable. And then we're going to hold our breath, not long, just a few seconds. And then we're going to release everything we don't need right now and release it through the mouth. So breathing in through the nose, slowly into the belly, into your lungs. And where it's really comfortable and feels aligned for you, hold your breath for a moment. And release. And just let go everything that you don't need, all the tension, and breathing in again through your belly, your lungs, your heart, and hold. As you're holding, feel the energy and release. One more time, breathing in. Holding where it's comfortable, so no pressure. And letting go. And then you continue breathing in and out through your nose. If it feels aligned, you can keep holding your breath on the in-breath at that point. Or you can just breathe relaxed in and out as you feel guided to. And then moving your awareness into your heart and just feeling, noticing, and accepting. Sia koshokotara kukia na kututua, isukututua kakia na kushukututua, ikokia na kushukututura na kate. Hey, na kutukuku rikatai na kututua. There has been so much information here today. Beautiful souls, Sara na shukututua kaya kata. And allow yourself to integrate all of this. Shara nea rana kura na katete akoko. Your bodies are integrating a lot right now. So is your nervous system, your mind. And always remember to allow for that. Maybe you wish to go for a short walk. Maybe you like to meditate. Maybe you like to be in nature. Creating time for yourself to let it all sink in. There is so much information in your world. There is so much contradicting information in your world. And again, it is an invitation for you to come back into your power, to connect back with your heart, with your inner knowing, with your soul, with your higher self, with the love, light, intelligence that you are in truth. When you connect deeply with your heart intelligence, when you connect deeply with your inner knowing, by creating stillness, by creating space, by grounding, and listening to your inner knowing, you will know what is right for you. And what is right for you must not be right for somebody else. It does not have to be right for somebody else. You're invited to take back your power now, to tune back in with yourself, your higher self. Shia kote arana kototo akashia koke arana koto. Isa koke arana koto shokototo ayana katia kaka. Rukututukuria koshia kakayana koto shokoti aranato. Au akate, aorana koke arana tataya. Shua kakia kukura na katea kukura na kataya na kotutua kashi ara na kotutua. Saya 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 Feeling the energy move through all of your body, all the way down into your feet and grounding into the earth. Chuarana shaina koto ora nakatea kokoya nakate. We wish to remind you to connect deeply with nature. We wish to remind you of the power of grounding, walking barefoot, sitting underneath a tree, watching wildlife, being in stillness, in communion with Mother Earth, in communion with nature. It will help you ground. It will help you connect with the new energies that are coming in, because they are not just celestial energies. They are connected throughout the earth with you, like a bridge between heaven and earth. You need both poles. Sayana kotea urana katea. And we wish to leave you with this knowing, the connection that you have right now in your body, and the message to be sure to keep grounding. Keep connecting with yourself, your heart, and your inner knowing and truth. We're sending you so much love. And taking a deep breath in through your heart space, as if you were breathing in through your heart and all the way down into your belly. Breathing in the goodness, breathing in the grounding, breathing in the beautiful, uplifting energies. And breathing out again, expanding your field, expanding your heart, and bathing in the light that you are in truth. Thank you. And then maybe you wish to move a little bit, to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe you wish to stretch, orienting yourself with your eyes closed in the room you're in, expressing gratitude to your own higher self and all the beings of light that have been here. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. That was interesting. It was so clear that it would be too much because of everything that's going on in the world right now and the energies coming in, to bring in too much light language and too much of that high vibrational light encoded information, because you're getting it all anyway. So the message was really clear about bringing it down to earth, grounding. That's at least what I remember and how it felt. Yeah.
No, I was yawning and yawning and yawning, so I'm still yawning.
Very good.
But let us know how you're all doing, how you're all feeling. And my throat is activated a little bit, so
It always does, right? But more would have been too much. It was just, it was a clear, that's it.
no, it was perfect. And it was like we got the light language, we got the channeling, we got the singing, we got that's all I remembered. The toning, I don't know. So that was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Felt so calming. That was so peaceful and lovely. Thank you. Oh, good. Awesome.
Beautiful.
And as I felt so grounded and talked to the trees outside my window. Awesome. Yep. Always good to talk to the trees, connect with the trees, talk to them. Awesome. Good. Any last words of wisdom? I always ask this, and it's like, sometimes it's like, is there anything else that we could possibly say that, especially after that activation? It's like, but it is really important to be grounded, especially right now with all the energies that we're receiving, the frequencies that we're receiving. And we are at July 16th right now, so we're ramping up to the Lionsgate portal coming up as well, right?
Yeah.
So anything you want to share about that?
I think they said it so
through?
beautifully. I think they said it so beautifully. And so it's really about grounding, creating stillness. You've heard it all. And I think that's all. As you said, I can't possibly add anything to that. It would be too much. And that's really the guidance that's coming through, is just like, just that peace, that calm, and just be.
Yeah, just be, and be in that stillness, be in that peace, be that, keep feeling these frequencies of peace and calm and stillness.
Oh,
and
yeah,
allow
something,
them to
of course,
inform you.
Sorry, something, of course, like if you're not used to that language, listen to your body really well. It might be that you have more energy or less energy. Everything is perfect. Just if you need rest, go rest. If you need a nap, take a nap. If you need to move, move. Just do what your body tells you. Also, just keep hydrated, as always with energy work, right?
Yes, absolutely. So drink some water, go outside, get a little bit of fresh air, sun if you're still in a sunny place, but just, that and if there's fresh air out there, go and get some of that. Yeah, so sometimes when I receive it at activation and stuff like this, I'm always like, can't always function as well as I did before the activation, right? So I'm still receiving the frequencies and the energies as well. So continue to receive, continue to feel, and again, everything is happening for your highest good, right? So have that intention. And so, yes, if you'd like to work with Natasha, it doesn't have to be around procrastination or overwhelm. It could be something else completely, but working with her guides, working with her team, check out the special offer, and so that you can work with her as well and have that shift and transformation as you're moving forward on your path. Because sometimes we do, as easy it is sometimes for me to say, just do it, it's not always that easy, right? I have received a lot of healing for myself in order to just do it, right? But sometimes we need that extra support so that we can take that next step, move forward, etc., in our to be in alignment with our desires, to be in alignment with our soul's purpose, and passion is the word that we're saying, passion and mission, right? So take advantage of this support from Natasha as well. Okay. Beautiful. It's always so much fun, Natasha, talking with you. And I love your activations. They're always so powerful. They always create a shift within me as well. So thank you.
It's my pleasure. And thank you for having me. As always, it's a pleasure to speak with all of you. And I've enjoyed a lot. Thank you.
Awesome. And thank you so much, everyone, for all your questions, comments, feedback in the chat. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So we will see you then. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Bye for now.